Let me tell you something. Nonfictions shouldn't be boring. Hi, I'm Ran and welcome back to another video. I know that this has been too long of a time. I had a very sweet little break that I couldn't express how much I'm so grateful for that break. Today we are going to talk about nonfictions, something that I don't really put myself on too much. My experience with nonfictions, and nonfictions are at the same time really great, but at the same time as well could be so boring. I personally want to give right ahead a little disclaimer over the nonfictions that I usually prefer. The very first nonfiction that I dislike the most is self-help books. My most disliked self-help books called Courage to be Disliked. It's one of my ultimate disliked book of all time. That book was the most repeated arguments I've ever read in my life. I am so guilty that I couldn't even just stop reading it. I'm so guilty. Now I'm going to give you some of the recommendations that I totally love in voluntarily reading nonfictions that I absolutely love. And because I dislike self-improvement and self-help books, so I'm going to give you some of the recommendations that are not in that genre. We are going to cover several genres like medical investigation and science and animals, as well as memoir and autobiography. So the first book is Empire of Pain by Richard Radden-Keefe. It's actually a whole investigation of the OxyContin abuse. So OxyContin is a drug made by Purdue Pharma. Basically, OxyContin is a combination of oxycodone that is made to be sustained release. You are only allowed to drink it once so that the effect will last up to a day. So it's more like for your convenience. But a lot of people know already how to break that mechanism by crushing the drug in between their tooth, or they crush the drug and then they inhale them so that the effect will be faster, quicker. That is when the OxyContin become abused. In this book, they will told you about the whole process of making OxyContin and how it even got FDA approved. So if you're a medical representative and then you try to make a lot of doctors to, prescribe the drug, and you basically are responsible for the high sales, you as well will be responsible to how the drug is being used by the customers. And in this case, OxyContin really up to the sales because the medical representatives, as well as the pharmacy, or as well as the doctors, like the person that is sitting in the white coat thinking that he will or she will help you with your pain, with your with your sickness, are actually the people that are responsible for your addiction. It's a very heart-wrenching as well as devastating type of story, because there is nothing that you can do about it. People are not going to be addicts if they're not introduced to this drug. And the next book is going to be Bad Blood by John Carreyrou. This is one of my favorite books of all time. So Bad Blood told a story about the founder of Theranos. Theranos, a diagnostic tool that was made by Elizabeth Holmes. If you're familiar with the name, you probably heard the news once at least. Elizabeth Holmes is a dropout of Stanford, and then she made a huge company. And by the way, she's rich, so you don't have to worry about that. She made a whole Theranos startup, and she is able to gain a lot of investors to invest in her company. And the problem is that the diagnostic tool doesn't work. The whole premise of this instrument is that this tool allows you to diagnose a lot of illness from only one single drop of blood. They can assess whether you have cancer or whether you have several illness that is almost impossible to be detected only by a single nano drop of blood. Nano is a very important detail. Nano is a very important word, because they literally claim that they can detect up to so many illnesses only by a single nano drop of blood. It doesn't work. It has never worked. And all the investors are being lied to. That is how fun the book is. I really like the journey of it, and the book is done even when the jail sentence has not been made, so you can just continue going to Google to find your own information regarding this new detail of this book or of this story. So yeah, we go to the next one. We have the science/animal genre, and I actually have The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. Selfish Gene basically told a theory of how we as a being, an organism, and anyone or anything has the urge to continue our genes. Not the species gene, but our gene, our own gene. We will do anything. We, as in like all organism, birds, or I don't know, any animal, any being. They have the urge to continue their own gene, their continuation of their life, literally by killing other. It's just common thing in birds world, you know, but it's not only in birds. It can happen in human as well. This book also talked about the concept of altruism as well in several organisms or several beings. And what I really like about the book is the way that it was written. It was written in a way that you, as someone who is completely beginner to this type of stuff, understand. It's a really important thing when it comes to nonfiction to have a very easygoing type of writing, because in nonfiction you don't want to feel like you are an idiot, okay? You want to feel like you get informed or you get more knowledge about certain things, and this is why I really like the book. Next book is going to be The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert. It told a story in chapters. In each chapter you will know what, why, how, and when a being or an organism extinct. What I really like about the book is that it also gives you pictures. I really love it when a book has pictures. It gives you the ability to imagine to a certain level, not to make it too wide. I mean, you can go to Google for nonfictions, especially for, you know, visualizing about certain animal or certain things. You can go to Google, but it would be way more time efficient if you just sit and read and get the pictures as well. So really enjoy a book when they have a clear message, very easy to understand writing, and I even read it in my own native language and it's not even confusing. So thankful for both the writer as well as the translator for Indonesian version. Love you. Hot Zone told about Ebola virus. And maybe before you get into like, isn't that like boring? You don't get it like I do. Before that, you have to know why it was there the first time. But the way that it was written, beautiful. This is the most beautiful nonfiction of a virus that I have ever read. The way that it was written, no other. The reason I can say that is because it was written as if it's like in fiction. It told about this Ebola virus the first time, okay? It gives you a little glimpse of how when Ebola entered human body, how much damage it could cause. And then it will shift to another Ebola virus, but it's not Zaire, but it infects a lot of animal, especially primates, especially the orangutan, like monkey species, but not human. And this is a little glimpse on how it was found out the first time and why, even though it doesn't affect human, it could possibly affect the way that we treat other animals, as well as why, even though it doesn't have specific impact towards human life or towards human health, it's so forbidden for us to feel like it is nothing. This book gives me another perspective of science and the way that science is approached, how science is supposed to be treated. It's just beautiful book. Read it, please. Go to the next genre. Memoir/autobiography. Tweak Growing Up in Methamphetamines. It's by Nick Sheff. This is actually a little continuation to Beautiful Boy, another book that already adapted to a movie as well. But this one, Beautiful Boy, is in the perspective of the father having a child that is an addict. But Tweak, it's actually a book from the POV of the child who is an addict, a person who is an addict, and how, when, why, the implication of being an addict. I really want to read a lot of perspectives, and one of the most that I really love is to read from the perspective of addicts. Addicts usually are being persecuted even before they are able to explain why they were put in that situation and why they can get into that situation. We never knew how much problems that addicts have to go through in the beginning of their life, and this book captured that. I really like the way that the book was writing it, the way that Nick Sheff able to capture his own emotions when he was an addict and when he was sober for some months and then relapsing, and the way that it is actually a very devastating moment in every addict's life. When they are sober, they think that, oh, life is finally going good, and then they go relapsing again. Even though you are a person that is really close to addicts, you are going to be frustrated when relapse happens, but you don't know how much frustration that the addicts have to feel as well. You never knew. It gives you more like wider perspective on people's feelings and people's condition. It gives me ability to not judge, and I think it's important. It's a very cute book. It's called Cat Stories. It's by James Herriot. James Herriot is actually a veterinarian. I read it a long time ago when I was like in the marathon of reading. I read like 14 books a day. No. Scary. 14 books a month of books, and one of them is Cat Stories. I really like that. It's such a beautiful book. It's probably the only book that in every page I would literally smile ear to ear because of how much cuteness I got from only reading Cat Stories. I really like it. James Herriot is a beautiful writer as well. He was being invited to several places to take care of cats or to, check on cats. So it's not like cats going into his clinic, but he's going to places, So it's a very cute little book to have a little refreshment. It's like you're going with James as well to go to several places and then feel like you were also an assistant of a vet. It's a very cool book, and how it was written is so beautiful as well. I want to cry even only thinking about the book. This book left me with a huge impression of a vet and how much fun being a vet is. Okay, that is actually it. I hope that from this video you will finally realize how much nonfiction shouldn't be boring. If you think that a nonfiction is boring, maybe that nonfiction is not for you. So that is it. I hope you like this video, and I hope that this video will enrich your reading scope. I really hope that this video will make you interested more in reading nonfiction. And remember that if you are finding out that whatever nonfiction that you're currently reading is boring, put that down. Nonfictions are not supposed to be boring. Nonfictions are supposed to give you information that you actually enjoy. So if you don't feel that, put it down. Put it down. Let me tell you again. Put it down if you don't feel it, okay? That is it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, or anything. Share if you want to, or not. I'm not forcing you anything. If you like it, go like it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as to pray for all the people in Palestine and all the people in Congo, Sudan, and also people in Papua, and as well as other people in desperate need of prayers and humanitarian aid. If you have the money and if you have the ability to speak about it, go speak about it. And everyone has the ability to speak about it, so there's no excuse for you. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Bye.